One, and we're going, continue.
Gone. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the third installment of the sixth series, nearly got that wrong, of your Time Starts an Hour Taskmaster podcast.
Except this is actually the 7th season, because we also covered Taskmaster USA.
Shh, that doesn't count. That doesn't exist.
Sure it doesn't.
Anyway, I am this podcast's equivalent of Greg Davies mixed with a meerkat, and joining me is this podcast version of Alex Horn mixed with a grizzly bear. How are you doing, Joe?
What? Which one of us has the Taskmaster segment? That's me. I am Greg. I am the size of Greg. You are Alex.
I think that I'm taller than you, but I am the secret man.
By like a quarter of an inch.
Having said that, I am the mysterious man who's pulling all the strings behind the scenes. Alex Horn is the equivalent of a Disney twist villain because for the majority of the film, it doesn't look like he's in control, but then it reveals in the last 5 minutes that he was the one pulling the strings, and you really hate him because they just did the cheap twist villain trick.
I mean, in this one, you can tell because it says producer Alex Horn.
Yeah, that's why it's right at the very end.
Yep.
So, Joe...
speaking of Alex rented a cape for this episode.
That's true, but are we going to do banter?
Do we have banter?
I have... we don't have a jingle for this, but I wish we could do something cool Emerson saw this week.
Oh. You make the jingles, man.
Yeah, but I'm on a time crunch, so I can't...
Oh.
I won't really be able to make a new jingle.
Just put in a single solitary musical note.
Dum. Something Emerson saw this week. Anyway, Joe, are you familiar with a YouTube series called Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared?
I am. Do they have a live show?
No. Have you seen the original show on YouTube?
No.
Okay, so it's a...
I am aware of what Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared is.
Okay.
And what did you see related to Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared?
Well, they have a new TV show on Channel 4.
Oh, okay. I thought that you'd gone and seen like a live show or something, and I was trying to parse out in my head how that was going to work.
Parse out? What are you, Canadian?
No. I am a speaker of the English language, Emerson.
Roasting Canadians right there. Anyway, they have a new TV show on Channel 4. 6 episodes, each episode about half an hour long, including ads. Fantastic show. Great show. Probably one of my new favorite shows of all time. And if you saw the original Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared series on YouTube, definitely give this a check out. It's a lot longer. It requires your attention for a bit more. If you if you weren't listening to it, if you watched all 6 episodes back to back, it'll probably take you maybe 2 hours or 3 hours or something. Yeah, if you have ads, I really enjoyed it. And it messes with your mind quite a bit.
I can't wait to not ever watch it.
All right.
That is so far away from the things I like.
Okay, what's news happened in your life?
What
were you going to say?
I was going to say, if you are definitely allowed to like it, I just do not happen to care for that sort of content.
I mean, that's okay. But we don't like a lot of the same things. But that doesn't mean I value you as less as a human being. That's today's lesson, kids.
Yep. I can't think of anything that I've done that's worth mentioning. Nope, that's it.
Okay. I mean, at 5 minutes in, should we just start the episode?
Yes, we should. This episode is called One Warm Prawn.
When I watched this episode in preparation for taking notes, there was one task in particular, and you'll know which one it is when I say it. I knew that I was going to have to get quite a few sound bites of it.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Anyway,
You
so
did the prize task last time, so I'll do it.
okay. But first, Alex is in a good mood because, as you said, he's rented a cape. But he hasn't. The reason he rented it and not bought it was due to the prices, and Alex might wear his cape later.
Yes. I was
But
waiting
anyway,
for them to get that joke.
Joseph Zadar, please take it away with the prize task.
So today's prize task is the most magnificent day trip. And I would also like to before we start this, I'd like to give a huge shout out to, again, our friends over at taskmaster.info who don't know we exist, because they have now added descriptions of what each contestant did for these tasks to the episode recaps, which means that I have to do even less work than I usually do when watching these episodes.
So you could just copy and paste what they say.
I'm not even bothering with that. I'm just reading off of their website. Thank you so much, Carl, from taskmaster.info.
Can you send me a link to this? Because I might find it. And
the website is literally called taskmaster.info.
Still, I want a direct link to the exact, like, give me an example. Send me the link of this episode with all the task descriptions, for example. You've got it.
It's in each specific task. So
I know I shouldn't be asking this question at 6 minutes and 30 seconds in, but does my audio sound okay?
Yeah, your audio sounds fine.
Okay, forget that.
I put it in the Zencaster chat this time.
Oh, wow. We're really breaking new ground here. Anyway.
Anyways, so today's task is bring in the most magnificent day trip. And we have 4 magnificent day trips and Alice Levine's example. So we're starting off with Russell Howard, who I am going to have to ask you for some clarification here. What is a Benidorm?
Benidorm? Okay, so it's a popular holidaying town location in Spain that a lot of British people go to, or at least in like the early 2000s, because there was a sitcom
called Benidorm.
Yes,
So it's not.
I saw one episode of it, and I learned it's not, and I realized it's not for me. I think for a British sitcom, it ran on for a very long time because British
seasons.
Sorry,
2 seasons.
I didn't know there was 2 seasons.
That was a joke.
Oh yeah. I mean, if a British TV show got more than 3 seasons of 6 episodes. 6 episodes each, you'd be laughing. It had 10 series or seasons and a grand total of 74 episodes, which is, for a British show, very impressive. Anyway, Benidorm, it's not the most luxurious of places to go. It's very much a sort of like, you're 2 people go to Benidorm, families who don't have a lot of money and one very old grandparent is accompanying you, or you go there on like a lad's holiday. Like, very late teens, somewhere between the ages of 19 and 30. Or maybe even 19 and 25. It's basically like it's a popular place to go holidaying if you're in those age groups.
So this is for the Americans. This is like Jersey Shore or Myrtle Beach. Okay, I get this now.
Okay. And Aqualand is very obviously a water park.
A chain of water parks, yeah, like Kalahari or Great Wolf Lodge. But anyway,
aqua parks are something that as a younger person you really like. But as I got older, I felt this when I was like 17. Aqua parks are just not for me.
I mean, I'm amazed that any British person would ever go to a water park because it means going outside and exposing your pale, pasty skin to the elements.
I mean, my arms, I think, are quite nicely tanned after I went on holiday this year.
Where did you went to Croatia?
No, that was in April. I went with my family to Bordeaux in France in mid-July.
That's not a place you go to get tan. That's a place you go to get shit-faced on local wine.
Still, though, I got tanned because it was so hot.
That's like me saying, "Oh, I went to Canada and got a tan." You know, which, by the way, something to point out. in case you don't know, did you know that all of North America is on a lower latitude than Spain? Like, you
So
guys are
do
up.
you mean it's further south?
Yes.
Even the most northerly tip of the Arctic archipelago in Canada is farther south than Spain.
Toronto is on the same latitude line as Barcelona. And
Okay.
that's more northern than all but Alaska, as far as the US goes. And Toronto's where like 70% of Canada is
I just
within.
want to say, Joe, no matter where you are in the world, what you're familiar with is what's normal to you. So I live in a small country about the size of the state of Michigan that has about twice as many people as the second largest country in the world. And that's perfectly normal to me.
You live in such a strange small place on an island where there's no sun.
I wonder what people from places like Canada and Australia must think, seeing this tiny, tiny, tiny little country in comparison to them that has about 2 or 3 times as many people. That must be so weird to them.
I don't wonder what Canadians think. It's not worth it as an American.
Oi day. Is that Canadian?
No.
I think I might have just said something really racist.
Canadian, you can't be racist against a Canadian.
Oh no, I think what I said was a bunch of Jewish stereotypical phrases without realizing it.
I mean, you said, oi, it doesn't matter. We're going to keep on going.
Anyway.
Anyways, Benidorm. Russell Howard bought in a trip to Benidorm, to Aqualand in Benidorm with his mother, which Greg very much liked because he likes Aqualand.
Apologies, I didn't mute my microphone when I took a drink
Yep.
of water from my metal water bottle.
Then we get Lisa, who actually has a really good day trip. I really liked this one. She's going to pick you up in a car, take you into central London, visit a tailor to get a new coat fitted, a walking tour around the area of London that the tailor's shop is in, where you see all the historical blue plaques, which are an English thing only. I've never really seen. They're not a thing in the US, but
What tailor
I know what
shops?
blue plaques.
Oh, blue plaques. Yeah, it's sort of just like this famous person lived here.
Yeah, usually
That's essentially what it is.
we have signs like those, but they're normally at like the site of an event. Like there's one about 10 miles down the road commemorating a very bad nursing home fire
Oh
in the
dear.
60s. So that, America's a little bit different.
I mean, of course you're different. If a building's labeled historic, if it was built in 1965,
We have
in
historic
America.
buildings that are that old, but anyway.
it's a stereote joke.
Yeah, I know, but
It's like, have you seen
they're-
those typical European
Yes,
city versus?
I have. I
Yeah.
have. That the one map of a European city that everybody passes around online, and it's like, which city is this? And everybody says that it's the same city. It's a different city.
What I was thinking of, because obviously, I say obviously, American cities are designed very, like from a
Differently.
top-down. If you looked at a map of an American city, you'd say it was designed very neatly. If you look at New York City, it's very grid-based. Like a lot of the streets are.
That's just because you're looking at the wrong U.S. cities. Pittsburgh is notably a city where you can make 3 right turns and end up in the same place.
That's the whole point of that you're basically drawing a square there.
No. 3, and you would have to make 4 right turns with the square. Pittsburgh, you can do it with only 3.
Oh, okay. 1,
It's
2. No, wait, so you go up, you take 1 turn, and you're going right. Then you're going down. That's your second turn. Then you do your third turn. Yeah, you can do 3 right turns, and
3 right-angled turns. Never mind. If
Let's
you've
keep
been
talking.
to Pittsburgh, you'll know that it's a terrible hellhole full of cobbled streets with no signs, and everything's on a fucking vertical cliff face. Anyways, continuing on. Blue plaque Lisa, tailor shop visit, blue plaque tour around London, and then a meal at a fashionable London eatery with 4 mystery guests that will be suited to the person who wins the prize. Then we get Asim,
Asim
who
Chowdhury.
Asim Chowdhury, who likes museums and shit, and has got a day trip to the Gaudi Museum in Barcelona. Which
We were talking about Barcelona earlier. What a coincidence!
that sounds great. Actually, going around with Asim to a museum is probably a lot of fun. He shows that he's a lot of fun in museums. He's got a picture of him in front of a picture of Atlas, the god who holds up the world, and it looks almost identical to him. It's hilarious.
It is a funny
Hilarious.
thing.
And then we get Alice Levine, who brought in a London travel card for the day, which this seems great. It's for the London Underground. It's a paper ticket because I guess Contactless hasn't made its way to Alice Levine yet. But also notably,
Contactless hasn't made its way to the UK yet.
The Oyster card is contactless.
I'm joking. I'm joking at how old this country is.
Yeah. But also, notably, it's a zone 1 through 6 travel card.
It doesn't even cover the whole underground.
Which means that my dreams of visiting Amersham, Rickmansworth, or Watford High Street underground stations is being defied by Alice Levine.
That basically, it's banning you from...
What if I want to go to Zone 9?
Basically, it's... Chesham is in like Zone 8 or Zone 9. And that's where a lot of the cool Taskmaster stuff buildings have
What
been.
if I want to go to Zone 9, Alice? You've denied me that. I'm stuck on the fucking circle line with this.
I mean, there's nothing in Zone 9. It's literally just white. Nothing there.
It's got like 4 stations.
I'm joking, mate. I'm joking.
There's
one person left.
There's nothing in beyond the Greater London boundary. If you go beyond the M25, you fall off the end of the world.
That's what I thought when you went to the very end of the tube line. Anyway, there's one person left, and I thought you might appreciate this the local American on this panel.
I do appreciate this. So Tim Vine's got mini golf. It's going to take you near where he lives. There's a Jurassic-themed mini golf with giant dinosaurs, which is great. Then he's going to take you to his hometown of Cheam, Cheam.
Honestly, when he heard that, I thought he said Sheen, as in...
It's a very weird pronounced thing, but anyways, he's going to take you to the American Way Diner in Cheam, where he is the radio DJ on their in-house radio station called American Radio, which is hilarious. And then there's also a burger on the menu that he recommends. And then you have an opportunity to take penalties against the reserve goalkeeper for Sutton
What were you
United.
trying to say?
I don't know. I'm conflated a word. Anyways,
we have fun here.
If he is available, you have the opportunity to take a penalty against the reserve goalkeeper of Sutton United Football Club, a soccer team that I have never heard of and will continue to never hear about.
But it's funny that they say that they'll take kicks against the reserve goalie if he's available.
Yeah. Because
the whole point of the reserve goalie is that he has to be available in case of a backup.
Yes.
As a backup. And yeah.
So anyways, I do quite like mini golf. I do. I could actually just do this. Fun. I could do this like up this like the next town over from where I am right now, if I really wanted to. And except for the soccer thing, we don't have a local soccer team. But anyways, do we want to drop Taskmaster Joe in right here?
It's the Taskmaster and his name is Joe, and he's gonna tell us what we should know. It's Taskmaster Joe.
And that was the jingle. The amazing jingle designed by yours truly.
Yes. And for the scores, Alice is last. No surprise there.
Alice has a howler of an episode.
Alice has a bad episode. But anyway,
This is almost as bad as that one episode where Mel Gedroych got 3 points.
Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Then I am going to put Tim in 4th because there's just stuff ahead of him that's better.
I thought it was charming, though.
It's
it was nice.
charming, but when you compare it to international trips, which is what Assam and Russell both have, because the Gaudi Museum and Aqualand are both in Spain.
Can I just say, you don't have to travel abroad. Hell, you don't even have to travel in the car to have a good time or too far. I think
you don't, but
I mean, maybe you do because you live in America where a local drive is 400 miles away.
I mean, everything is domestic in the States except if you want to go to Canada. But anyways, I think that Tim is a little bit behind Russell and Assam because their international trips, I enjoy those.
Are you putting them on the same level, Russell?
I'm putting Assam and Russell in joint 2nd place, and then Lisa knocked it out of the park. She got a tour guide and fine clothing, mystery guests, top place. Easy.
The thing is, if they measure you up for a coat, you're not gonna. There's a chance that you might not wear it in time for your walking tour or your fancy dinner.
Well, you get the coat later.
I mean, true, but I would want to wear my coat.
Oh, no. The fun part of going on a shopping expedition is buying the things. Actually, receiving the things is later.
I mean, you're not wrong there.
Retail therapy. I know how it works. Anyways, Greg was a little bit different on his scores. Alice, of course, is still last. He puts Assam in 4th, Russell 3rd, Lisa 2nd, and Tim in 1st because he thought it was a bit more charming.
Okay.
Then
now, thanks. I'll talk about this one. Our first VT talk. I mean, if you want to do my job, you can.
Oh no, I thought this was hilarious. This is fun.
This is a great task. I love tasks like this. Wow, I'm looking at this. This Taskmaster.info is so insightful.
We should message him on Reddit and see if he wants to come on and do an episode. He's great.
I mean, we're more likely to win $1 million than get him on. I'll say that.
But I mean, I could just ask him. He's on Reddit all the time.
Okay.
Yeah,
get him on for a special episode at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Okay, so the task here: write, illustrate, and read out a bedtime story for grown-ups. Your bedtime story for grown-ups must be no more or fewer than 50 words.
Which means it's just 50 words, right?
Yep. First up to bat is Alice Levine.
Most engrossing bedtime story for grown-ups.
Most engrossing bedtime story wins. And Alice has written a grown-up alphabet book, and I'm going to
admit it's funny.
It is funny, but I'm not. I don't sound exasperated because I didn't like it. I did like it, but if I wasn't smart, I would have I would have had to have. Fuck. What am I saying? I would have had to do a lot more editing than if I hadn't come prepared. So I actually soundbited all 5 stories to slot into it. So that will save me a bit of time later. So yeah. She's written a grown-up alphabet book. I'll play it right here.
It's been a long day, hasn't it? Shall we read a bedtime story? I'm Alice Levine, and this is a grown-up alphabet book. Once upon a time, you became a grown-up, which can be a bit rubbish, but does mean you now get to use some useful words. Kinda. Asshole. Bellend. Cocknose. Dickweed. Erection fanny gobshite. Handjob. Ipsism jerk knobhead. Lame ass. Muff. Nuts. Orgasm. Piss. Quim. Rusty. Shitbag twat underwear. For JJ. Wanker X-rated yanking. Zach. Night-night.
And yeah, it's not quite a story, obviously. Like, if I read this to a small child at bed, it probably wouldn't send them to sleep, would it? I get that that's not really the point, but it wasn't.
No,
really.
I quite enjoyed it. I
It
liked
is.
the little drawings she did too.
It's good, but it's sort of like you turn up for an English, or you turn up for a creative writing class, and you've got to write a really dark adaptation of a fairy tale, and you end up writing a really detailed biography of a celebrity. It's still great, but it's not entirely what you've been asked to do.
That's true. I will say, you know, in terms of drawing, my favorite is probably when she did hand job. It's actually a hand holding a resume or a CV, which is really funny.
Lisa's up next, and she's written a story about a scatterbrained man, and I'll play the soundbite here.
This is a story about a scatterbrained man. There was once a scatterbrained man. He was very good at his job, but not very good at looking after himself. One day, he was hungry and remembered an old prawn sandwich in his car. He shat himself inside out. You made some excellent choices today. Well done.
What did you think of the story, Joe?
This is going to be a common thing with everyone but Alice, but I like how every single one of them went into, oh, hi there, I'm insert comedian name here, like they're doing a children's TV show. It's really funny how like Lisa, I don't think put her name in it, but everybody else did that.
I could listen to Lisa's. Lisa's got a very nice speaking voice as well.
It's very funny, and the way it's shot, like I cannot stress enough how much kudos we need to give to the behind the camera talent for this one, for the way it's shot, the way it's filmed. Like this is in some.
I could probably talk
somewhere.
like that. I think I can talk like this. Do you want to hear me talk like this?
Yes.
Hello, everyone. I'm Emerson, and are you ready for today's story? I've got a great one for you. There was once a big, strong man called Emerson, and he had a big, shaggy brown dog called Joe. And Joe was Emerson's bitch, as he liked to call him. I'm sorry,
Okay.
I lost my mind.
Here, I'm gonna do it. Can I do it this time?
No, you can't. Let's move on.
Yes. No. I want to do it. I want to do it. You got to do it.
No, all right. I deserve this.
Oh, hi. I didn't see you there. I'm Joe, and today we're going to read the story about the man from Nantucket. There once was a man from Nantucket whose dick was so long he could suck it. He said with a grin, licking cum off his chin, if my ear was a cunt, I would fuck it.
I thought you were going to roast me then.
I Googled that limerick because it's always... it took me so long to find the end of, like, because it's always, you always hear it, it's like someone gets cut off before they finish it.
I mean, I've not heard that one.
Oh, you haven't? Oh,
Well, I mean, it's not really, Nantucket's not really a thing here.
I just figured it was just a rhyming thing.
I know the one similar. Do you remember the SpongeBob episode where he travels through people's dreams?
Yes.
And he meets the really smart version of Gary, and Gary says to him, there once was a man from Peru who dreamed he was eating a shoe. He woke with a fright in the middle of the night to find that his dream had come true.
Yep.
That's the closest I could get to it, or I could recognize. Anyway, I was genuinely thought you were going to roast me.
No.
Although I think my voice was better.
I think
That's not saying my story was better. That's just me saying that I think I
do
presented
have to
it
get
better.
the narrator's cadence down a little bit.
Yeah.
I have to go like
I
there
have
once
that.
was a man from Nantucket whose cock was so long he could. I can't say it again. It's because I managed to get it out once.
Should I do it, or should I do it in an American accent or a British accent?
Just do it in your best children's TV presenter accent. That's the title of this episode, by the way, is The Man from Nantucket.
Okay. Hello, boys and girls. I'm Emerson, and this is a story about the man from Nantucket. There once was a man from Nantucket whose dick was so long he could suck it. He said with a grin, wiping cum off his chin, if my ear was a cunt, I would fuck it. Should we call this episode The Man from Nantucket? And then the man from Nantucket with a winking emoticon.
Yes. Oh my God.
Okay, The Man from Nantucket. Anyway, Asim. Asim writes a story about himself getting food poisoning, and here it is.
Hi, grown-up children. My name's Asim Chowdhury, and I'm going to tell you a little story. It's called Upset Tummy, aka The Shits, based on real events. It was a rainy night. Asim had his big umbrella. He wanted a little bite. Decided on fish paella. Monkfish, mussels, crayfish and prawn. Washed it down with the Baileys. His anus was torn. Neighbour complaining. Asim said, "Sorry, miss." He had an upset tummy. Vomiting, shitting from every orifice. The end. Watch out for that fish, guys.
Based on a true story as well.
I know it's based on a true story because the exact same thing happened to me.
Would you care to enlighten us, Joe?
I would. Oh my God. This is at my brother's wedding back in like April.
A lot of stuff happened at your brother's wedding.
So stuff always fucking happens. As I may or may not have mentioned, I hurt myself at this wedding from dancing too hard. I literally, I also probably nearly gave myself a heart attack because I was dancing very hard and I'm not in great shape. This was number 3 in litany of things that happened to me is that we went to the reception. The reception, apparently everybody else was not very filled up by the food that was at the reception the night before the wedding. And so myself, my mom, my dad, and my sister-in-law went out to a place we'd been to a couple of nights before and went and looked for and went and found a paella place that we had wanted to go to, but we hadn't the night before. I had already gorged myself on like the steak that had been offered at the reception.
Okay.
So we are eating seafood paella, and I am not feeling great as it is because it is also Miami approaching like the end of spring, beginning of summer. So the air is liquid and it is also like 9 million degrees outside because Miami is a tropical hellhole. I hate Miami. Anyways, evidently the seafood paella did not agree with me or my sister-in-law. She didn't have as much. I don't think she got very ill. As I started dancing the night, I wasn't feeling great, but I guess as the day went on, the next day started getting worse. Then I start extreme physical motion as well. And at one point, my brother Jonathan's wife, Jamie, who is now my sister-in-law, it comes up to dance with me on the dance floor, and it should be a touching moment or some fun thing. The only thing that was going on in my head is don't vomit on the bride, don't vomit on the bride, don't vomit on the bride. Oh my God.
Did you vomit on the bride?
No.
Oh, thank God for that.
Oh my God, I'd have killed myself.
Thank God for that. Thank God for that.
I'd have killed myself. There would have never been a season, whatever that was at that point.
There would never have been your time starts now. Well, there probably would have, but maybe not with you.
No, this was this April, Emerson.
Well, you probably would have had to say, Emerson, I can't do the podcast anymore. I have to.
Emerson, I think you would have gotten a message. Emerson, Joe jumped out of the airplane on the way home. But
oh no,
anyways,
he smashed the punch bowl, and probably best not say the rest.
But yeah, it is fish. Don't seafood paella, not even once.
Anyway, should we get back on track?
Yes.
So Tim writes a story about Benny the Toad.
Oh, hello. I'm Tim Vine, and I've got a story for all you children and grown-ups. Benny the Toad. Benny had a music exam, but his clarinet reed was broken. Susan Carrot couldn't help. Then, Ed the potato peeler arrived. Through a process of hollowing and scraping, Ed turned Susan into a clarinet reed. Benny got A in his exam. Cooperation is everything. Vote Green Party.
Vote Green Party.
Yeah, vote Green Party. A quick message shoehorned in to make sure it was adult themed.
Yeah, and I thought the murder was shoehorned in to make it adult themed.
Yeah, well, it wasn't really a murder. It was just sort of like, because if you look at the picture, she's very clearly smiling.
Well, have we considered that maybe he killed her and the last thing on her face was a smile? And it's sort of like a rictus
that would be
grin.
scary. That would be scary.
Tim didn't make it clear, but this could just be like the last expression before she was abruptly murdered.
That could very well be the case. And finally, Russell, his story was titled Destiny, and it sounded like this.
Hello, adults. I'm Russell Howard. This is called Destiny. Alex's erection twitched as he watched Greg sleep. Suddenly, Bobby Davro burst in. Fuck off! Roared Alex, grabbing the axe. He tossed Davro into the pit. It'll happen! Screamed Michael Ball. Yeah! Roared Sunita.
It's inevitable!
Never! Bellowed Alex, urinating on their faces. Greg would never do panto. Not never.
Russell does explain this one, but I still don't get it.
Basically, a bunch of people show up, Alex pisses on them and saves the day.
Yeah, but who are they?
Bobby Davro, I vaguely know who he is. He's like a comedian impressionist kind of thing. He's sort of like I think he's in like his 60s or 70s something. Michael Ball is a very well respected theatre musical actor in the UK.
Okay.
He's sort of like who's a famous Broadway person in America? Like a late 50s white Broadway actor.
Broadway actor?
Yes.
Yeah,
his name is Michael Ball.
A late 1950s Broadway actor.
No, not late. No, he's in his late 50s.
Oh, I don't know anything about Broadway. Are you kidding me?
Well, anyway, that's who he is. Sunita, I think she's a singer or something.
Okay.
Sunita is a British-American singer. American-born British singer. So, yeah, there's two pictures of her with Simon Cowell. One maybe within the last 10 years and one with a very younger Simon Cowell, and she's licking the tip of his nose. Anyway, basically, Greg decides to give Lisa 5 points. Asim and Russell get 3 each. Tim gets 2 and Alice gets 1. Now, Joseph, my friend, how would you have done this differently?
Do we do the drop?
We can do.
Yeah.
It's the Taskmaster and his name is Joe and he's gonna tell us what we should know. It's Taskmaster Joe.
Yes. There we go. So Alice's alphabet dead last. Unsurprising. Russell Howard, fourth place.
Oh dear.
I you know, A, I didn't understand it. B, it was a little too crude. Sort of falls into the sausage party sort of area of this is supposed to be a dark adaptation of children's stuff. No, adult, but it's like you're just making it crude for crudeness' sake. Tim is third because you know it's funny, but also there's better stuff. I give Asim second place because man, I lived through that. And then Lisa gets first place for reasons that should be obvious. Before we continue on, I want to make two other observations. At the very beginning of the episode, I really liked that Alice asked for pencils and pens, and before she finishes the word pens, Alex thumps down a glass mug full of pens, pencils, and markers in front of her. And she finishes up with and a side of attitude, apparently, like she's offended by that. Uh, Also, this took place in a pub. I don't know what pub this was, but it actually says behind all the actors that there's a Taskmaster quiz being hosted by Quizmaster Josh Whitcomb.
Would like
And
to
then
attend that.
I would too. And then finally, we do have our now mandatory. What other shows did this task? Surprisingly enough, no Basti test this time.
What? What is this
yeah.
flying fuckery?
Shocking. Stormester season 2, episode 3, and Director Sivmira season 1, episode 9. And that's it. As
Wow.
we and that there's only three versions, including this one.
Okay. Well, we're making good time. Would you like to talk about this next task?
I would make something spin for the longest. The task brief: make something spin for the longest. Your thing must not be a person. You have 10 minutes to prepare for your spin and 1 attempt at spinning. Your time starts now. Oh boy. Oh boy, these people are brain surgeons. So
What do you mean?
These are all really bad attempts except for Lisa.
Oh, okay.
These are all really, really badly done attempts. So we start off with Tim and Alice. They're shown together. So Alice looked around for a record player, which good option. I would find one fault in that is that about the longest you could get on the thinnest grooved record you could find is probably about 45 minutes to a side, unless you manage to set it down to like 16 RPM or something. But that's still not going to be as long as what Lisa ended up doing. A better option would have been, if we're going this way, is to find a CD player or a DVD player and put in a fairly long movie. Or something else that I thought of is a spinning
Alex
platter.
does compare Lisa's attempt to one shown in a film.
Yeah. And then, or something else that I thought of would be a spinning platter hard drive, which you could just like turn on and leave it, and it would go until it broke, which would be years from now. Anyways, Alice did not find a record player and did not do any of those things. She tried to spin a record on her phone, which didn't work. Then she rolled around a 55-gallon drum for a second, and then eventually went to a game of Spin the Bottle, which spanned for 2.2 seconds. Tim was not nearly as... Tim was much more successful, but also wasn't.
Twas a hollow victory, my friend.
Yeah, he had a table tennis ball in a glass fruit bowl that he found in the caravan. He was spinning that around, and then as the 10 minutes came up for him to because as Alex would then go on to explain, you can make it spin, and then at the end of the 10 minutes, you basically can no longer touch it. If it keeps spinning after that, that's fine. At the end of the 10 minutes, Tim tries to set it down on the table in the caravan and misses.
And it even bounces out, which is like,
and the ball
okay,
bounces out of the glass bowl, which is funny.
I think it's the fruit bowl that Noel Fielding hid in.
Maybe.
Wouldn't
it
be
might have been.
surprised if it wasn't.
Anyways, it was a 3-minute 47-second spin, which is better than Alice. It's
another hollow victory.
It's a more logical thought than a lot of these. Next up is Asim and Lisa. So Asim takes the little blue bicycle that they have in the shed, turns it upside down, and tries to spin the back wheel. And in theory, this should work. Again, the issue is that at most he'd probably get 10 minutes plus. He'd get like 10 minutes if he did that immediately, plus I don't know, another minute or two afterwards. But yes, the brake was on, so he let
no
go
wonder
of
it was
pedals.
so hard, as he explained.
He was struggling to pedal the bicycle upside down with his hand, and then as soon as he let go, it came to a stop. So he got like 5 minutes 59 seconds all told. Then we have Lisa, who actually approached this realistically. She took a drill, which she absolutely could have just stopped there and taped the button down and made it spin like that until the battery ran down.
But no, this is Lisa Tarbuck we're talking about.
She decided to, as Greg put it, bugger a lizard and stuck a lizard on the drill bit, taped a picture of Greg's face in the lizard's mouth, taped that to the drill, and then taped down the handle, taped down the button, and then buried it upright in the gravel, next to the compass thing that's out there. And
I think I was going to make the mistake again. I was going to say it's a sundial kind of thing, but it sort of is and it sort of isn't.
Well, I assume that they would have to put something there for it to be a sundial. But whatever it is, she buried it next to it and left it spinning there until the battery ran down, which is 84 minutes, which I'm personally shocked because I would have thought the battery would have overheated long before 84 minutes was up, but who knows? It didn't seem like it was spinning very much. And then we get Russell Howard, who is genius let down by technology because he clearly thought that because he tossed a tea towel in the washing machine, which is again in the kitchen for some godforsaken reason.
It's the UK. Your washing machine is usually in the kitchen. Because our kitchens are tiny.
I know the reason why. It's because your country has been forsaken by God. Anyways, at
least we don't have to walk very far.
That's nice. I have a laundry chute. Anyways, Russell
let's show off.
Tossed the thing in the washing machine, put it on a quick wash cycle, expecting it to spin. What he didn't realize is that because washing machines work by agitating the clothes so that they all are equally in contact with the soap and the water, is that it will spin and then it will stop and then it will spin again and sometimes reverse direction. So it spun for 10 seconds and then stopped.
Yep.
So in the end, the scoring goes from last to first. Alice is last. Russell is second to last. Then we have Tim, Asim, and then light years away at the 84-minute mark is Lisa. So,
very, very, very strong landslide victory.
Which I also would have thought as another thing to do is they have the Taskmaster van, put it up on a jack and just leave it in drive or first gear and let the tires just spin for a couple of hours.
Wouldn't that pollute the environment though?
Who cares?
I do.
Well, I don't vote Green Party. And I'm sure they could find an electric van if they looked hard enough, but also it's 2018. The environment hadn't been invented yet, so we didn't need to preserve it. But
you
anyway,
are a blind, foolish man.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, At the end of this, there's no Taskmaster Joe because this is
It's an
objective task.
objective. That's the word.
And then the other versions of this in other countries, it's Scandinavia for the copying.
Fuck
Basti
yeah.
Test, Season 3, Episode 6. Stormmester, Season 2, Episode 4. And Sir Mistari, Season 2, Episode 9.
Where is the done in other versions on this page?
When you're on the individual task page, it'll say up at the top Master Task. And if it's not down in the similar tasks section.
I can see Master Task.
And then it says in red, make something spin for the longest. Click on that, and you too can find the master task for whatever it was that you were looking at.
So we got, just so make sure that we got make something spin the longest in Stormmeister Season 2.
Stormmeister Season 2, Basti Test Season 3.
Sumastari Season 2.
Yes.
Kongan Belfara Season 2. Stormmeister does it. Actually, is that? No, it's something.
No, you need to go up. That's the similar tasks section. Go to the very top of the page.
Make something spin for the longest. It's.
And then task types.
Yeah.
Then right below it, master task.
Make something spin for longest.
And click on that.
Oh, okay. Okay.
This is like doing tech support. Have you tried turning it back off and turning it on again?
I mean, if I was customer support for Apple or something, I would start every call like that.
Apple, have you tried turning it off?
We tried turning it off and turning it back on again.
Have you? No, actually, no. This is Apple. Hi, this is Apple. Have you tried buying a new one?
Nope. Okay. Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on again? Nope. Okay, so you might want to try that as well.
But anyways,
welcome to your Time Starts Now Taskmaster podcast. We have fun here.
Welcome to your Tech Supports Now, a tech support podcast. Anyways,
should we just start a tech support podcast and completely abandon Taskmaster?
No, I don't want to talk about tech support. No, I don't.
All right, we won't.
I had to help my dad figure out how Google Tabs worked yesterday. The man's a surgeon.
Okay. Cool.
Anyways, now we have more vile foods inflicted upon people by Alex Horn.
Yeah, this task is me, and I cannot wait to. Well, I was terrified of talking about this task, because it's extremely difficult to make notes of. But thanks to our good friends at Taskmaster.info, I should be okay.
Did you at least get what all the food was?
I did. So the task is work out the flavors of these 3 baby foods. So
most accurate flavor guesses wins.
So I think it was the first baby food, number 1, was sausage and sugar puffs. Yum.
Yes.
The second one was pilchards and coconut, and the third one was prawn cocktail, chicken breast, and chocolate cake.
Yes. There's also a bonus point for whoever eats the most of it.
That is also true. First up, Alice and Russell are shown together.
I thought Alice was by herself, and then Russell and Tim went together.
I think you might have been right, to be honest, or something. Anyway, Alice guesses fish for all 3. Correct, meaning she correctly guessed 2 of the 7. I think they gave her pilchards, the equivalent of pilchards and prawn cocktail.
Yeah. She guessed fish for all of them because they all
tasted fish.
Some sort of fishy odor from, which is more concerning considering that one of them was not fish.
I mean, I haven't eaten baby food, obviously, in a very long time.
This is not baby food. This is ground up sugar puffs and sausages. Where does fish smell come from?
The fish smell comes from something, and I don't understand these people. The way their brains work is just beyond me. Russell and Tim, if you do believe they're paired together, Russell Oh, by the way, Alice ate 6 grams of baby food. Nowhere near the most eaten. Russell and Tim. Russell eats 14 grams in total, and he genuinely thought it was real baby food. A couple of things I wrote down for him were Sunday dinner, fish and tears, and moose with Weetabix. I don't think I got everything. But
I'd also like to point out that Russell apparently got vegetarian meats for all of his options because Russell is a vegetarian.
or at least doesn't eat meat.
That's generally what vegetarianism means.
But I mean, it could also be pescatarian.
He could be a pescatarian, but in any event, he did not get the same as everyone else. But it all presumably tasted just as vile.
Yeah, I mean, at least plant-based alternatives are less likely to make you sick, I think.
Sure. Should also be noted that Tim refused to eat any of it.
I mean, I respect him for that. Tim didn't eat any baby food and sniffed it instead, and he only guessed one flavor correctly. He got the fish as well.
Yeah, I would also.
I don't know where he got herring from.
Well, I mean, pilchards and herrings are both small fish.
That's true.
And I also like
sardines.
I also like that he mentioned in the studio segment that like he felt bad for not eating any of it, and everyone immediately says, "No, that's like you shouldn't have done this." It's like, and Alice goes like, "Your body stops you from eating things that are harmful, and all of those flavor combinations were harmful."
Exactly. Tim had to do what he thought was right, and he did. So, yes. Asim and Lisa that's probably going to show. I'm massive on my waveform. Asim and Lisa are paired up together. Asim eats the most baby food, and Lisa eats the second most, with 38 and 33 grams respectively. And Asim actually finds a whole prawn in the third jar.
Which is where we get the episode title from.
One warm prawn. Sorry. Something just happened. I'm going to edit this out.
Yeah, he finds one warm prawn. And yeah, he receives 1 bonus point for eating the most baby food, and he also gets 5 out of the 7 flavors correct.
Yeah,
he had coconut, prawn. I didn't write them down, all of them. Lisa guessed 4 out of the 7 correctly. She got sausage and chocolate, among other things.
Yeah,
and that's yeah,
and that's. Yeah, I also like that when Tim went on, he said that it looks like someone minced a sparrow, or maybe Russell said that.
Yep.
And then we're on. Oh, one thing else I'd like to point out: when we have the commercial break in this one, it's Alex pushing a wheelbarrow around the driveway of the house to make the number of the
sort of like
which bit it is.
A paint machine for a football field in a way.
Yeah, but
I know it didn't look like it, but
it's done in After Effects. It's very clearly done in a photo edit in a video editing program, because you can see that the line after he finishes drawing it, the camera's moving back and forth ever so slightly, and the line is moving, but the driveway isn't.
Oh. Anyway, do you think we could wrap this episode up in under an hour?
Yes, we can try.
Anyway,
we gotta do the master task. Identify the mystery flavors, which this is probably one of the most tenuous connections we've gotten in a while, because there's a lot of different ones
there's a lot of different ones.
There's a lot of different. None of them are actually identify the baby food flavors. There's also, strangely, most of them are from Taskmaster UK, where it's
I do recall there was one on Taskmaster New Zealand.
Yes,
the first season.
The flavors of the dips, which was Taskmaster New Zealand season 1 episode 8.
Yeah, I remember that one.
Then there was choose an outfit for a contestant. Work out the crisp flavors in your outfit, which is from an upcoming season of Taskmaster, season 8, episode 7.
Yeah.
And then also Taskmaster UK, again, Season 12, episode 2 was Work Out the Contents of the Bags, which is small bags filled with stuff that look weird. Weirdly, does not mention identify the contents of the pies, which we got from season 1 of Taskmaster, but I think that's because
It was food.
I was going to say they're not. I mean, Rosine made Alex eat.
Roisin. How many different ways can you pronounce her
listen,
name?
I'm pronouncing Asim right today. Give me a fucking break. Roisin and Asim. Roisin made Alex eat Tipex, so that we're
No, she didn't. She made him eat hot toothpaste.
Hot toothpaste. That's right, but it's almost food.
Almost food is right. Yeah.
But anyways, now we're on to the live task, which is catch the most socks. This is a dumb one.
It's also extremely difficult to talk about.
So I'm going to do my best here. So first of all, everyone is on the stage. They've got like a wall behind them. There's a PA standing behind the wall with one of those, long extendable arm gripper things. Litter pickers. The task, and they're wearing floppy brimmed hats, and there's a laundry basket in front of them. The task is catch the most socks and put them in your laundry basket. You must stare straight forward throughout the task. You must not touch any pants, which in this case means underwear. You must not move the laundry basket.
The only way pants should be called.
No. You must not move the laundry basket. If you drop a sock, you cannot pick it up. Every time you touch some pants, you lose a sock. Most socks win. Now, a couple things I want to note. They're all wearing floppy, wide-brimmed hats with no tops to make it so that they can't see directly above them. Nowhere in the task brief does it say they have to keep those on, and I'm interested that nobody actually took them off.
You make a very good point.
Also, Russell
took his own socks off and put them on.
Russell took his own socks off, threw them in the bin immediately. Which was that the last episode where he couldn't get his shoes off in time? Yeah, or the one before that, where they were sorting stuff under the table. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and so I think it was him who kicked like a football or something.
Yeah, but anyways, Russell takes his own shoes and socks off, having learned from last time.
Good man.
And then also employs two members of the audience because his lazy eye made both of them think that he was looking straight at them, according to him. But to tell him when underwear is being dropped versus when socks are being dropped. And it's basically that this is almost like a video game level, but a really bullshit video game level.
Isn't that most modern video games anyway?
Kinda. I was thinking more of like an old school arcade game, but also Alex is dressed like Count Dracula because
and his cape has he's finally wearing his cape.
His rental cape has been embroidered with Greg Davies' assistant, Alex Horn, in increasingly small font. And then so at this point, it's just imagine brightly colored socks and underwear being dropped onto people. That is about what we are getting. The only real humor comes from some like what some of the people are doing. Russell employs the audience. Lisa, whenever she catches the underwear, ends up folding them for some reason. Asim at one point mistakes his man bun for a sock, and then is immediately vindicated from looking like an idiot because, as it turns out, there had been a sock on his head. So that's all. That's that. And then at the end of this, Russell says he's going to give the two women who helped him a hug, which is interesting because we cut back to them sitting back down in their chairs, and you can hear Lisa saying very quietly under her breath, "Good man," which I'm assuming was to Russell because she sits next to him, but we don't see Russell hugging the actual contestants. So I'm
You
not,
mean the women in the
women in the audience.
maybe
So
they
I'm
just
not-
cut maybe they just cut it out for time's
That's
sake.
what I was assuming, but it's like I wonder why they left that in. But
Maybe they
anyways,
just thought no one would know. I certainly didn't notice, and I probably wouldn't have unless you brought it up.
that's just something to wonder about. And then we get to the scores, which is that thanks to taskmaster.info, because I definitely didn't write this down. Alice caught 1 sock, touched 4 underwear, giving her a score of -3.
We're not going to
Asim
have this
and-
done in under an hour, by the way.
Asim and Lisa caught the same number of socks and underwear, scoring 0. Tim caught the same number as well, scoring 0. And Russell caught 2 socks, which is definitely buoyed by the fact that he threw his own socks in beforehand. So good for Russell. He is the winner of this task. And then, is he the winner of this episode? No, he is not.
Womp, womp, womp.
Actually, it's also interesting how the scores were divided. I didn't see that before. Russell gets 5, Lisa, Asim, and Tim get 4, and then Alice gets 1.
Whoosh,
Eat
whoosh.
shit, I guess. But she gets 1, and then Lisa ends up winning the episode overall.
Alex says that Alice, who won the first episode, is now
Yeah.
in dead last.
Yes.
I don't have scores for the whole series up to
Yeah.
this point, which I weirdly haven't done since the first series we covered.
Yeah. And then also, do you want to, speaking of bad contestants for a second, this is something else that I learned recently. Apparently Stormester is gotten to the point where they're doing season 5. They finished season 5, so they're doing Champion of Champions, but also they're doing a Champion of the Losers.
I did see that, and that made me think that's a great idea.
They're doing,
And a
which
very
I
funny.
actually think that was
What
Carl
would the
from Taskmaster.info doing that. But
What would the prize be for that, though? Of course, it could work. Of course, it could. But
a prize for that would be
maybe a shining replica of Greg Davis's anus,
I was going to say maybe like his a version of his foot,
or
because-
like a polished model of a shit, because like say you can polish shit, but it's still shit.
Yeah. But
Anyway,
I'm also very interested to see. Apparently, they're actually going out of like the 4th and 5th ranked people from those things.
okay.
Which I also really hope that they get like super hard tasks that like even normal people would struggle with, so that it's even funnier when they fuck it up.
Oh god, that would be something garish for sure. Julio, we
But
seem
anyways,
to have
that
come
is
to the end of our journey.
the episode in 1 hour 3 minutes, plus however long it takes to add
Edit.
in the
Sound
audio sound bites. But
Yep.
yeah, that's the episode. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.
Bye, everyone. See you soon.
Goodbye.